Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live Stream. This is Sandi at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona, and welcome. And lots of people in the chat already. And let me scroll up. Niecy's putting little man to bed. So she said that she's just going to let it run. And then it's the first day of school for him tomorrow. Hoo-hoo. And Leanne from Mennonite Farmhouse. And Leanne is doing Souptember. And today was my day to upload my soup, and I made tomato soup from the tomatoes in the garden, garlic, onions, and the secret. There's two secrets of good tomato soup. One, you put cloves in it and let that simmer until it goes through the food mill. And the other thing is when you chop up your garlic, leave it on the counter for about 10 minutes. It does a chemical reaction with the air, and you will get such a better flavor of garlic. So I uploaded that today. It was a little stressful. I had to do some stuff I had never done before. Leanne probably thought I was a crazy woman this morning, but got it all done, and it is good soup. Steph is in. Steph, how are you? And Steph is making hats. Now, every year, her and her church ladies make hats, like 50 of them each. I'm so excited for her. She showed me some of the hats today, sent me a picture. Beautiful, fabulous ones. And Angie is in. Hello, Angie girl. And Craig is in. Now, Joe and I both got to see Craig and Debbie's compound this weekend, and it is fabulous. Just beautiful. I don't think there was a weed on the place. And the tomatoes were huge. The garden was growing, and it was just lovely. And we're sitting on the deck, and all these deer keep coming down in there. It was fabulous. So thank you very much for letting us see that. We really liked it. It was perfect. And everybody's saying hi. And Ann Dale is here. Ann, how are you? I saw Ann earlier in it's here. We were in the chat earlier in a live stream. And so that was fun to see her earlier. Eleanor, hello, how are you? And Brian is here. Brian, I have a box here. I haven't sent it yet. And I couldn't mail it today because there was no post office that was open today. Besides, Joe and I went hiking today. But I will send that in the morning, and you'll get it. He won one of my little fused glass dishes. And so he said I could surprise him on which one it is, so I am sending it to him. So that is totally fun. Starting over Homestead. Good evening. And she's in Mississippi. So everybody make sure that you say hi to her and everybody else in the chat. And it looks like KK. Hey, girl, how are ya? And John is here. Hello, John. John is the Unpaved Explorer. He does videos, and he's on hikes and camping, and the nice thing I like about John's channel also is that he does reviews on products that you would use when you're out camping. And I like that. And the Vineyard Chicks are in. Are all three of you in here? KK, Trey, and Bunky. I just watched Bunky's new video on peppers. Bunky, I loved it. Oh, Eleanor says it's 4 a.m. Oh my gosh. You have to be in Europe then. And everybody just saying hi. And Teresa's in here too. If you see somebody's name and it has a little S afterwards, that means they are a member. She says, I didn't know that about the tomatoes need to set garlic. The tomatoes will get juicier, but it's really the garlic. And so what I like to do is chop up all the tomatoes. They're sitting. Then I'm chopping up the garlic, and the garlic always 10 minutes at least. If it sits longer, if it sits 20 minutes on your counter, it's excellent too. But it can really change the flavors. And the air does chemical reactions. Side note, when you're making anything with tomatoes, never use an aluminum pan because that has a negative side effect. It has a chemical reaction with aluminum. Not good, not with anything acidy. So it's just something to remember. Leanne is being kind. I sent her like 3 or 4 emails this morning, but I figured it out. But oh, Steph is holding them up so we can see them. Steph, you're so funny. Yeah, tomato soup. I have to tell you though, tomato soup is one of my all-time favorite soups. It is just one of those things. I think it's because when we were little in school, they would have tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches at lunchtime. And I just loved them. And I mean, we had tomato soup when we were growing up, but I don't think my mom ever made it homemade from scratch. My grandmother could have because she was very good at that. But it is always good. And the woof that could. How are you, girl? Yep, everybody's just saying hello, 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 hello. Oh, Stormy Young is in. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. Seriously, I hope you're doing good. And I'm scrolling down through. Fast, fast, fast. Netherlands. Awesome. I always wanted to go over to, well, my favorite place I'd like to go to in Europe is Wales. That's because my mom's family is from Wales. And I would just like to do that. John says, what do you like with your tomato soup? Crackers, hard bread, grilled cheese. Well, I like to put crackers and basil, sometimes Parmesan cheese in it. Grilled cheese is always a favorite with tomato soup. But I do like hard breads with it too, that anything that you can dip, like a tough sourdough, or a bread that got too hard. Sometimes you're going to make it into croutons instead. I just like it. I just think it's just one of those heartwarming soups. There's a lot of different soups and there's a lot of great soups. But chicken noodle soup, tomato soup, things like that, minestrone soup, are just those heartwarming, at the hearth kind of soups. And if you can make it from stuff in your garden, it is fabulous. And with or without seeds. When I make my tomato soup, if I'm in a hurry, sometimes I leave the seeds in. I don't send it all through a food mill because I don't mind eating the seeds. But like when I did the video today, I got everything to a boil. So there's chicken broth in there, the tomatoes, the onions, the cloves, and the garlic. So I bring it all to a boil. And as soon as it hits that boil, I turn it down and I just let it simmer for a half hour. And then I let it cool. And then I send it through the food mill. And then all of that skin and seeds and particles that don't come out into the soup, I give to the chickens because they love it. Oh, and there's Bunky. Hello, Bunky. Hey. How are you? Kettle Kitchen, Tony at Kettle Kitchen, is doing a collaboration this month also. And you have to cook outside. You can barbecue, you can use your grill, you can use your smoker. My video comes up on Wednesday, which I'm actually doing tomorrow because I have Angie coming on Wednesday. And we are cooking in the pizza oven. So we're going to cook pizza. Then because it takes a long time to heat up in a pizza oven, I don't want to waste that thermal heat. So then I'm going to cook bread and then I'm going to make apple pie. And it'll still be hot by the time I'm done doing all that. So that is what I'm going to show everybody how to do tomorrow. So much fun, I tell you. Bunky says that she's like, but Bunky, we only started 10 minutes ago. Are you talking about my Joe stuff? I can't keep up with the schedule changes. Are we talking about with your collaboration? So, See, you guys are talking, and it's just goes too fast, and I can't keep up with it. This is a trick that I learned today. If you have a problem with heartburn, you can put a pinch of baking soda in your tomato soup, because sometimes on your tomatoes, some of them are more acidy and some of them more sweet. So in my recipe, I never say to put sugar in there, because you may not need to put sugar in there. But if it's too acidy for you, you just put a little bit of sugar in your bowl, mix it all up, and it's just fabulous. Seriously, fabulous. Now, I'm just like way behind. Angie tells me to stop looking at all the comments when I get so far behind. Yes, apple pie, an American way or a Dutch way. I actually have a cast iron pie pan that I've used lots of times in my pizza oven. And so it's actually, it's more like a regular American apple pie. And because the pan is shaped, it's not really deep like when you do a Dutch oven one. But it is fabulous. And it gives it a different flavor in the pizza oven than it does otherwise, but it is so good. And it takes about 45 minutes in the pizza oven, sometimes less if it's still really hot, but it's really good. And Nisi is back. Hey, Nisi, so exciting. That little man, it's first day of school tomorrow. Very fun. Now, many of you guys know that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I paint with Mary. And Mary always finds the pictures. So lots of these ones that are behind me are from Mary and I painting. She finds them, and then she'll say, can you teach me how to do that technique? And so sometimes I have to really study it because it's unusual what they're doing. And so our newest one, because we should finish the seaside one tomorrow. And I'm not really sure if you can see that very good, but glass of iced tea. There's a little canning jar there, and there's a book there, and three books stacked up over here. And so the iced tea is sitting on the book. There's a spoon. That's what we're going to paint tomorrow. Well, start painting. It'll take us probably 5 times, and I'm there for 2 hours a time. So it'll probably take us about 10 hours to paint it. But it is going to be good. They're just ones that Mary finds, Now, Mary is never going to sell the painting. And I don't sell the ones that we do from class. It's just something that she wants to be able to do and learn a technique. And so we just play around. And we always change it up some. But when we very first started, I told her that if she was finding pictures online, photographs, or whatever she was going to find, we could never sell them, because that was somebody else's idea, even if we're changing it some. And so it's just a fun thing to do. And so Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, it's me and Mary. And I think Tim is in here. Hey, Tim Posey, how are you? And Barb from Barb's Country Home. Good evening, everybody. Just so fun. Make sure you give a thumbs up, just because that helps with my algorithm. And, it's just the way YouTube computers do. Now, I dug up some of my potatoes, and some of them are getting fairly big, but they can stay in the ground basically for the rest of this month. And it has been so hot here. 97 today. It was 100 degrees yesterday. It's really unusual for our part of Wyoming to be that hot in September. And the kids are in school. Luckily for us, all of the schools have air conditioning here. So that is kind of a nice thing. And the Texas beekeeper, hello, how are you? I think this is your first time of being in one of my lives. So welcome. And everybody, make sure you say welcome. Do you have a regular bee channel? Because if you do, we'll send people over. And Castle Hives is in here too. I don't know if you know Brian at Castle Hives. Okay, 26 Celsius. Is that around 90, 95 maybe? I used to be able to tell you what the difference, but now I have to figure it out with the equation. Oh, he does have a channel. And he's saying hi to Brian because we love Brian at Castle Hives. And so I have beehives in my yard. We have 2 regular beehives, and then we caught 3 swarms this year. And one of the swarms, it just didn't make it. It just, maybe we didn't get the queen. I thought she was in there, and they were okay for a little while, but they weren't very strong, not like the other 2 that we caught. And so it was like, well, that just happened. So now I'm down to 2 swarms. It's just one of those things. And Mary's here. Hey, Mary, how are ya? And everybody's saying hi. Oh, you're still working on the chicken coop. The little fluffy butts are keeping us on our toes with their escape attempts. I had a chicken out of our pen the other day. And it was like, seriously, what are you doing out here? And I mean, they don't care about the dogs. The dogs don't care about them. Max and the chicken are walking along right next to each other. And I said, stop. You got to go back in your cage. Well, it's not a cage. It's a big enclosure thing. But I caught it and put it back in. And it was just like, I don't know what you're thinking. And we went hiking today. So I'm going to show you a little short video. And I'm going to turn that down. This is what somebody did to one of the trees. We always, not always, but most of the time we have our lunch in this little area. And there was a camper that moved out. We were here last Wednesday. And these trees were not like this. And it wasn't just like one tree. It was lots of trees. And I was really disappointed. In fact, I was really pretty mad when we were up there. And they had taken the fire pit and just threw the rocks all over. They had taken the charred pieces of wood, because you can't have a fire up in the hills right now because it's just too much fire danger because of it being hot. And so we stacked up sticks and we put all the fire pit back together again. And it was just like, seriously, and I understand kids are dumb sometimes. And later on, they'll wish that they had never done that. But it was just, it was really horrible how they had left that spot. And, I touched the charred wood. It wasn't hot at all. They didn't start a fire, but they just threw everything all over. And there was birch trees and pine trees and bushes that they had just whacked with it. And I have to say, I was really disappointed that somebody would do that. And and it is way out of the way. It's not like it's just right next to the road. You have to go way down into the valley, and it's at the very end and you hit the walking paths. And I don't know, I was just disappointed that somebody would do that, because like the one pine tree I showed you, there is a few little spaces that aren't cut, but it's pretty much girdled. And I said to Joe that this tree's probably going to die. And it wasn't a little kid. Where you could see those cuts were about at my shoulders. And so it was somebody that was tall that was chopping it. But there was all kinds of trees. And usually it's just so nice down there. And that's why we like eating lunch when we go hiking. But, sometimes you just come across that. So we just spent, like a half hour just cleaning up the whole area and put it together. And I stacked up all those sticks, and Joe brought other ones. And where they had ripped against the bushes, parts of the branch was still attached. So Joe took his saw and did a clean cut so that it would start to grow again. And so it was just one of those things, And I just wish that people would realize the damage that they do to those, because it's a whole ecosystem out there. And like when we go out there, I don't take the berries. I don't do anything because I figure the wildlife will need that. I did try to call grouse today, but I didn't get any answer because there are grouse up there. And there's a trick that you take a couple little round rocks, like river rocks, and you click them together. And it, from a distance, the sound it makes, a grouse thinks it's another grouse. And so I tried getting one to come in, but I couldn't get one today. But it was in the middle of the afternoon, and grouse are much more active early in the morning and in the evening. So I'll have to try it again. But it was a fun time, and we hiked way past what we usually do because we have a few different ways that we go. And then after that, I was the driver. And so we took all these different other roads that we'd never been on. And I actually had to put it in 4-wheel drive one time. And but it was really fun. And you get to see a lot of area, and there's tons of birch, and there's aspens in some parts, and more birch than aspens in the part we were at. Lots of pines. There's spruce trees. All of the hazelnuts were gone. I didn't find any hazelnuts when we were there before. The hazelnuts weren't quite ready, and I didn't find any of those. We didn't find any acorns, though there's lots of oaks up there. But I'm sure the squirrels are collecting them. Grouse eat acorns. In fact, they'll just eat them whole, and then they're little. I can't think of the name. Because it has stones in it, it just breaks it all down. And so that was kind of. Are we talking about the clicking of the rocks that it's a fishtail? I actually read it was some actual hunters that were calling them in, because I had never even heard of that before. I told my wife we need to move to Wyoming. Love it up there. It is a beautiful place to live. It seriously is. And no matter where you live in the state, you don't have to go very far, and you're not in the prairie anymore, and you're in the forest, and it's just a beautiful place. And Kathy, hello, how are you? Where's the garlic? That is so fun. We love hiking. It has just been so fun. And there's this one spot by the creek that's really steep, and I'm looking at it, and you can see where the deer trails go up. And I said, and Joe says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to decide how hard it would be to go up that hill, because it's really pretty steep, right? But I think next time we go up there, I'm going to try going up there. And I think if I stay on the trails where the deer go, I think I can make it up there." So that's my next thing to do. No, that wasn't where I had to use the 4-wheel drive. You couldn't. That part you would not be able to even use a 4-wheel drive. It's way too steep. You wouldn't be able to go up it in a vehicle. You'd have to climb, which I'm okay with climbing. And Rebecca's in. Hello, Rebecca. And if I miss somebody, please say a comment again so that I can say hi to you, because I don't want to miss anybody. And Rebecca, I'm going to make some hats this week. Steph is in here, and she's been making all kinds of hats, beautiful hats. And I like making hats. They're totally fun. And Rebecca is quite the hat maker. And I think I'm just going to send my hats to Steph, because they give those away, and I'm going to send some down to her. And then when we were hiking today, there was there's cows down there. There's ranchers that do contracts with the National Forest Service, and they let the cows wander along down there. And yes, winter hats. That's what I'm going to make. And so I'll just send them to Steph, and she can give them away. But there was some scant poop that Joe and I did not recognize. And so we were trying to guess what it would be. And so I'm going to have to do some research on that. And then I said, maybe it's mountain lions. And so I'm going to look that up first because it was just something I didn't recognize at all. And it wasn't a bear because there are some bears. I just didn't recognize it. And so we'll see. I'll let you know next week what it was when I find that out. Steph says, what? You know it. So I'll get those done because I already have the yarn. And in fact, if you guys have Hobby Lobbies, they are switching out lots of their yarn. And so there's all kinds of yarns on clearance. And so it's always a good time to do that. And, it's just fun. But I have different things in the garden that I need to start pulling out. And one of my raised beds is completely empty now. It had broccolis and cauliflowers and stuff. I mean, it has a few borage that just decided to grow there. I didn't plant them. They just seed themselves different places in the garden. But I think I might plant some lettuce in there. And even if it gets cold, I have my hoops and I can cover it with plastic, and so we could have some lettuce before we go. So Kathy says, get ready for cold winter and early winter. I've heard that from some people. Yes, and mountain lions. When you're in the hills, that you just have them. There's not usually a problem ever with people and the mountain lions. I suppose there could be, but around us, I don't know anybody that's ever had a problem with them. Barb says that she needs some pot holders. Wow. I like making pot holders too. Okay. Barb, send me an email with some your address, and I'll send you some pot holders. Melissa's here. Hello. How are you, Melissa? See, you popped in, and I didn't even see that you were in here. Kathy says that they have mountain lions in Central Texas too. You ever make beanies, gloves, booties out of alpaca wool? John, I have some alpaca skeins of wool, but unless I'm giving it to somebody, I don't ever do it with that because alpaca wool is so expensive and you never get what you should get out of a hat when it's made out of alpaca. But I do have alpaca wool in one of my boxes. I haven't used it for a while, so I should get that out too. If I do, John, I will send you a hat. I'll make you a hat. A friend of mine has alpacas, and she lives 2 hours from here. But sometimes she does classes in Gillette, and that's actually how I learned how to really felt. I mean, I knew a little bit, but I took different ones of her classes. It's fabulous. Craig says Pops got into the tomatoes yesterday. I saw those pictures. He liked them. When we went and saw Craig and Debbie, he gave me one of their black tomatoes. Oh, it was so good. I mean, seriously. Oh, you have some cougars coming into town in Tucson. I could see that every once in a while, especially in Gillette and over in Rapid City, they'll have mountain lions that come right into town. And so they try to capture them or tranquilize them and take them back out. But one time over in Rapid in the valley, they had one parked right on the stoop of the school. So that was a little interesting. But school was out of session, but that's where it was. Oh, researching making felt hats. It's my new bucket list. Felting is really, really fun. And I've actually only felted with sheep, but mostly with alpaca. But you can felt with a lot of different things. Some people, when they put the blankets from their dogs, if the dogs have long hair, in the wash machine, then into the dryer, they save all that dog hair lint and they felt with that. And you can do it with cats. You can do it with all kinds of animals. It's really fun. Leanne says, I want to make bowl cozies for a September giveaway. Fun. Yeah, that sounds fun. Felt hat sounds like a hard job. Not hard, but certain techniques. And a lot of people use forms for when they're felting it, the hat, so it becomes a certain shape. And so it's just really interesting. I should pull some of my felt out. And I mean, I felted little bees. I don't know where I put that. I felted some little bees not too long ago, but I haven't felted any scarves or anything because I've made scarves that have Santas on them and different Christmas things. And then a lot of my felted scarves I attach beads to. And so that's always kind of fun. And I haven't done that for a while. I should do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. People would find them drinking their pool water. Ooh, that would be bad for the cats, though. Angie wants to say thanks for the good vibes. Sold the house in 6 days, signing documents and loading the truck tomorrow. She is stopping by my house on Wednesday, spending the night at my house on Wednesday. So I'm so excited for them. And whoo-hoo, happy dance, I tell you. And Anne's here. Hey, Anne, how are ya? Welcome. Stormy says, never tried felting. It is a fun thing to do. It's relaxing. It takes a while. You got to work the felt. So it's really fun to do. Hey, Beth, how are ya? Bowl cozies are good to make. See, I haven't made a bowl cozy. That could be a fun idea. See, lots of people are thinking that's a good idea. And Steph says, congratulations. And Cheryl's here. Hey, Cheryl, how are ya? So many fun people in here tonight. New North Dakota winter adventure. That's what I told Ange, because where they live in Utah, they get some snow, but it is not cold like North Dakota. And we grew up in South Dakota, and it's cold, but it is not as cold as North Dakota. But North Dakota has the most spectacular springs and summers. So it's a trade-off. That's what I say. Cozies are similar to a big pot holder. I'm going to have to look up and see. And Nisi, if you are still in here, do you have any patterns for some bowl cozies that I might be able to get? Or can you put me in that direction for a pattern? So that would be fun. Bunky says, did you all press the thumbs? The thumbs up. That is right. But everybody, we are at 34 minutes, and I always like to have my lives about 30 minutes. So though the last couple of times I have been over. And Melissa says that she loves the snow. I love the snow. I do not miss the ice and driving on really slippery roads because most of the time we're in Arizona in the wintertime. Though we always catch some snow before we go, and we catch some snow when we get back. Oh, Leanne, if you have anybody that has a pattern that they could send to me, that would be awesome. Because you could make it like you were making a small hat, like a mini hat. And then it could stretch around the bowl to keep everything warm. There's a lot of options, I think. Craig says, have a great time, Ange and Aaron. Awesome. My quilt buddies make them to sell at the hospital gift shop. Oh, fun. I love fundraisers. Yeah, I'd like to have that. The lights on my hydroponics are going off. And I have biggest honkin' peppers in my hydroponics. It is awesome. And I've been eating my little tomatoes. I have little micro dwarf mini tomatoes growing in the hydroponics. They're orange. And I've been eating them away. And there's just all kinds of them. You could maybe use the bowl like you would use a hat block. That is true. Yeah. I'm going to have to do some work on that because that would be a fun gifts to give because everybody loves it when their soup stays really warm. So awesome. Okay. Oh, okay. YouTube tutorials on bowl cozies. Okay, I will look it up, Beth. Thank you. So everybody have a great night. If you haven't seen my tomato soup video that came up today for Souptember, Leanne, thank you very much for organizing all that, and lots of good comments on tomato soup today, so I appreciate that. And then Wednesday, Tony at Kettle Kitchen has the barbecue. That's when my day is, Wednesday, but it's every single day on his channel. You can see the playlist and you can see everybody cooking outdoors for the end of the season, fun ideas. Mine is Wednesday, pizza, bread, apple pie, all in the pizza oven. So everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for the thumbs up, and I so appreciate you guys. And don't forget, Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, episode 2 of our adventures in the homestead and all around. Okay, bye everybody.